Okay, good morning, Abby. I'm call today's meeting to order. Jen, will you do roll call, please? Here.
Here. Here.
I'm here. I can't hear.
There. Thank you, Jen. Good morning, James. And Mike's traveling in DC. That's where he's at. So with that, we'll start this morning off with a prayer. And Jimmy, can I ask you to lead us in a prayer?
Vamos, Grandfather. Grandfather, today we call on you to ask you to guide us in the work we have to do for our people. Just be with us as we make these decisions. Ask you to look at the families of the people that we have lost here in the last few days. Some very, very good friends, and just be with them and comfort them, and the rest of our people here on the reservation. Watch over them. Watch over the people traveling. Just keep an eye on everyone. I ask you this in your name. Amen.
Jimmy. We got an echo. I'm gonna start yelling. Is that better? We have minutes from August 29th for your review and consideration.
Morning, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, James.
Hey, I made a correction to the minutes and I emailed my correction to Abby. It's basically when I went to see the Will Wyndham family, I made a little correction there, just added that he was Chief Justice as well.
Thank you, James.
Motion to approve the minutes with corrections.
Motion by Len to approve the August 29th council minutes with corrections. Second by Jimmy. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, show of hands.
I abstain. I wasn't here.
Okay, we have 8-4, one abstention. Jennifer? Motion passes. We have our agenda for today, and we have one walk-in. Is there any other additions or changes to the agenda? Carol has one item. Okay. I have one quick update. Take me 10 seconds. Any other items? Motion by Len to approve today's tribal council agenda with the additions and corrections. Second by Martin. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Unanimous. Okay, let's go ahead and jump right into our walk-in. Or he's busy. Okay. Let me do my quick one and then we'll do Carol. I just want to give an update on the issue of our negotiations for purchasing property. The individual is going to be conferring with their attorney because the individual doesn't have any electronic communications. So we'll know by the end of the day if there's a counteroffer acceptance or not. Okay. On the property in Polson. Yep. I don't know what exactly it was. I think it was whatever they listed in that email chain. But, anyway, that's my update. Go ahead, Carol.
Last week I had a meeting with Jennifer Rolfness and Eleanor Biscara on the Way Park, and they're applying for grant funding. And it sounds like there's a pretty good chance that they'll get it for the playground. It's 650,000. And so we went there and just kind of scoped out the location. I'll have Jennifer get some maps together so we kind of explain to the council exactly how it's laid out around that tribal health building. And the other thing is that I contacted a guy Rainbow that does bathrooms to see if we can get an RLE bathroom. I think there still needs to be one temporarily down there till something happens. So I reached out, and I did go to each play or skate park this weekend and picked up garbage, emptied it, and it wasn't too bad. So it's looking pretty good. Just waiting for other things to get started on it. So by next spring, hopefully it'll be looking good with trees and bathrooms and everything else. So, but yeah, really happy that see kids out there playing and having a good time. And I think that was it.
Thank you, Carol. I can't remember who I asked, but I asked for the conceptual layout for the property at where Tribal Health and NRD is at, and the skate park, along with proposed housing. Do we have a new drawing brought in, or we look at that? Because it's changed. It was conceptual to begin with a lot of items, and so we need to redraw that and reflect it to the current issues today. Yep.
Do I understand that Deward is going in there? The water compact people?
They are looking to build a new building over their existing footprint that they're already there. You know, the old irrigation project, you know, where division of water is at right now.
Oh,
Yeah, so they
Oh,
kind of
okay.
stay that same area. They may expand a little bit more towards the tribal health building,
okay.
but that's their footprint.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, I think the only issue around that I can think of is if they wanted to enlarge the parking lot, which I think it would be a good idea, given the skate park, push playground, you know, the
Pickleball.
sports pickleball, whatever else might be going there. If they wanted to do additive for a mobile scanning trailer truck that comes in for some of the procedures that they do, they'd like to bring in there. That might, you know, how we do that parking lot, that would be the only thing, and we should do that right away if it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea.
And in the parking lot around
It'd make the parking lot bigger than what it is right now.
parking lot around the skate park and expand it all. Make sure it's all done with engineering so the water's not a.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair,
We are. Oh, wait, just a second, James?
I was just gonna ask, does that incorporate the safety of dams offices there too in Ronan or?
Yeah, it would
Okay.
include them. Yep.
Okay, thanks.
Do we? Maybe you guys got it figured out and you don't need us. You gotta push the mic button, Dewey. Get that red light on.
Oh, look at that. Okay, so I
It's
am
open right now. Did you want executive? Do you want?
yeah, that may be,
Okay,
yeah.
well, we'll go into executive then. Don't know if they're out there. Okay. We'll do John Nice and Dan Dergelo, SKMM. Yes, Quacks, John. We's ready for you.
Today, we're looking for approval on task orders 123 and 124. You can drive. I got it on these pages. Task order 123 for 499,590 is for the renovation of property and supply. A large part of this is the electrical. We've had problems in there with number one, just not up to code. Kill switch on the outside, which is code nowadays. We had a small, almost a fire in it there not too long ago, so we got that fixed. But number one, it's just not. It was a pool hall, so it didn't have much electricity in it before, and now we're trying to put offices and the property and supply in it, so it needs to be upgraded terribly bad. And then renovations on the rest of the building, tearing out some buildings or some offices and the stage to make more room. Redoing all the single pane windows, getting them up to grade and new doors. And then on the outside, we need to do some re-siding. There's some rotten plywood underneath the siding also, so it's quite a large renovation, but needs to be done if we're gonna house people in there. And just looking for approval on that.
Go ahead, Carol.
Heard about this quite a while ago, that it was pretty, that there was a fire and then the issues that were going on, so I'm glad that we're to this point, so I'll make a motion that we proceed.
Motion by Carol to approve task order 123. Second by Martin. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all is in favor? Show of hands. Looks like we have unanimous, well, I take that back. 8-4, Danielle out of the room.
All right. On to task order 124, which is for 149,774. This is kind of the mixed bag task order. One's a automatic gate for the roads department out at Kicking Horse. More programs that we get out there, the more traffic we get through there. So we're trying to kind of contain the visitor traffic in one area. And the automatic gate will help for when the roads department is hauling their semis or their big trucks, instead of jumping out and unlocking the gates. And then also out there, we are looking at a covered structure for all our sanding equipment and sand, and outside their bobcats and that stuff. So we're looking for design and engineer on that. There's a cement pad already out there that was used as a previous shop, and then the new shop was built beside it. So it's the perfect place. And then we have the stairs at the south end of the old fire control building. They're a wood structure, and we want to replace them with a metal, something that'll last for our lifetimes. And then we have some at the fuel shed out there. The garage doors are completely shot. We need to get something in there, replace them, and install a concrete floor at the NRD Airport boathouse. The shop is already built, just looking for a floor to close it up. And that is task order 124. for $149,774.
Motion by Carol to approve task order 124. Second by Bing. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? 8-4, one out of the room, Danielle. I can't believe they built a fire escape that was wood.
It was just an exit, not an escape really, but
Well, still.
I guess it is an escape.
Exposed to the element?
Yeah,
Was it pressure treated?
yeah, I think it was.
Was it?
Yeah. It's lasted 30 years.
Is it that old?
Yeah.
God.
It's just, yeah, it needs to be replaced though.
Okay. That old, huh? Damn, Cotta was in diapers back then. He's waiting for it. Oh, okay. Okay,
All right.
anything else?
Nope, that's it. Thank you.
Len?
Chairman, I would like to request to meet with Chad in executive session.
I guess we got enough time for that. Okay, Chad, got time? Yes. Okay. We'll move into executive. You don't believe his age, right? Part of that workforce development is I would really had hoped that they would work with 477 also for, building workforces and whether it's monitoring construction or whatever, actual laborers. But okay, next up, we have Kelly. Come on up. Good morning. You gotta push the button, Kelly, on and get that red light on. There you go. Thank you.
Squax Kisuk with them. I'm here this morning to request and in support of a contract for employment with the Court of Appeals for the appellate court administrator, Abigail Dupuy. And it's for a 4-year contract, and it has been in the past for 4 years as well. And I feel very fortunate that Abby is wanting to continue on with the appellate court. I know she's been there for a long time. And just feel very fortunate that to have her working and her knowledge and keeping the appellate court running.
Carol?
To approve the 4-year contract.
Motion by Carol to approve the 4-year contract and resolution, reappointing Abigail. Second by Martin. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
I'm in favor, Mr. Chair, and a comment.
Go ahead, James.
Yeah, thank you, Kelly, for bringing a contract in. Abby, thank you for all your hard work helping us with our minutes and all of this for many, many years. So thank you for your work and your work with the appellate court.
Thank you, James. I think we all echo those comments. The vote was 8-4, one out of the room, Danielle. Thank you, Kelly.
Yes, I do have printed out copies. I don't know if you need them or not. And also just to mention, I do want to work on getting a backup person, an assistant for the appellate court administrator at some point to be a backup person for Abby. For work.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're on a break according to the schedule. All right, we'll come back to session after our break. Scott, I think you're up. Good morning, sir. Good, highway updates.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Vice Chair and members of the council. Today we have MDT. Most of them, I think all of them have been here before, and they'll give an update on the Post Creek Hill project and other US 93 projects. I'll let them take the stand and then I'll be, okay. I'll let Ellen take over.
Thank you, Scott. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming in.
Good morning. Thank you for having us here. I'm Ellen Hinshaw. I'll be the project manager for the Post Creek project. Previously, you've seen John Pavsek. He is retiring, so I will be replacing him for this project. And then we have the rest of our staff. Beth Kappas will be taking over the other 93 projects. Mark Stute is helping me on design side, and Joel Boucher with the district pre-construction. So just a quick update on the Post Creek project. We've been working through design through the summer. Continuing discussions on wildlife connectivity. We've been looking at the bridge for bridge heights and also discussing exclusionary fencing and if electrified mats are needed at approaches or what that could look like to make sure that no wildlife is getting into the highway corridor. Looking at minimizing wetland impacts, and I'll have a little bit more on what that shared use path, we're going to propose moving it to the east side of the highway and maintaining it along the east side rather than hopping across to the west for the Post Creek and then bumping back. But I'll have a bit more details on that in a minute. We have moved forward with our foundation evaluations. We are going to continue with drilled shafts, looking at the concerns at the aquifer. We think drilled shafts are our best option to ensure that any concerns that come up, we can mitigate that and not cause any aquifer concerns. We will be using that 3-span bridge layout, maintaining that 500 feet of length to ensure that we are crossing the whole Post Creek corridor. Red mats. We are continuing some of our right-of-way approach discussions. We've had some discussions with tribal right-of-way and with our right-of-way contact in Kalispell. Since design is still progressing, we probably won't move into any sort of discussions or acquisitions until the new year. And then we've also started some traffic management discussions during construction. We're looking at a detour or a shoe fly, and we're kind of working through if there's any concerns with either of those options as we continue moving forward. We've had some discussions with tribal council, with Scott, with Whisper, with Carrie, to make sure that if we are using detour options, that there are no impacts that we're not seeing, as well as the shoe fly, which would just go to the east of the bridge. There's quite a few wetland impacts there, so we're trying to make sure if the detours are possible. I think that would be everyone's preferred option. We've also talked with Lake County, who would need to maintain those roads after the detours, as well as the city of Ronan, to make sure that everyone's being accommodated. And then we are doing our first estimate reconciliation this week. This is where the contractor and our independent cost estimator are going to come together, look at all the items and give us a rough estimate of where the cost is at, and we can start figuring out if there are opportunities for us to innovate and bring that cost down and kind of give us a better idea of what the cost is now that we're in design and have a contractor on board. So that'll be this week. We'll get that first number. We'll continue doing those estimate reconciliations through the duration of the project. This first one will have a fairly high price tag, just with a lot of risk and contingency, since the design has not been completed, and hopefully those risk and contingencies decrease as we get closer. One of the big changes from last time we talked to you, we were talking about doing an early work package to try and spend that roughly 13 million obligation in 2025. With further discussions with federal highways, the full grant needs to be obligated by 2025. So we're going to move forward with keeping the project moving as a whole chunk and not breaking it into smaller pieces at all. Okay. Moving over to the path discussion. So in the SEIS, there was a discussion, 3 options of moving the path over to the east and west and kind of bouncing back and forth. As we looked into it, the underpasses to move the path under the highway to the western side of the road were running into some geotechnical and some of the high water table concerns, and from a constructability standpoint, we have concerns that providing those underpasses would be wet throughout most of the year and would not provide the benefit, and also could provide a opportunity for wildlife to be using those passes, increasing that conflict with humans or with pedestrians and bikes. We looked into the opportunity to just keep it on the east side if there is any way to avoid those underpasses. And looking at it, we do not see any additional impacts to wetlands. It'll be the same profile and we'll keep it 5 feet off of the highway. So we do not see any larger wetland impacts, approximately 0.8 of an acre less on the wetland side. There is some higher increase of that human wildlife conflicts on the west side because of those undercrossings and having that corridor under the highway. So we believe that it will be better and safer to maintain that on the east side. There is a little bit more right-of-way impact by keeping it on the east, but these are already some landowners that we will be working with for right-of-way for the project. So we do not see any additional impacts being required there. It'll just be a bit more land. And I think that was
Scott,
my-
did you have something?
So I guess I was just gonna ask for council action if we could get concurrence that you are comfortable with the design group's decision to keep the path on the east side with all our discussions, and I am. I was just wanted to make sure council was all right with that.
Any concerns from council? Consensus to? I guess we could have consensus. So, I think if you don't have to cross the highway, that's a good thing.
Yeah. So
Just the 4F properties, the impacts of those and, the wetlands, what you're saying is minimus. So, yeah. Consensus. Yeah, Carol?
Just gonna say, I'm an avid bike rider, and I tell you, to cross the highway in Ronan, either light is, it's kind of, it feels dicey. I am not gonna say it's dicey, it just feels that way. So, yeah.
Okay. I think we have consensus that it's great to keep the pathway on one side, not have to cross the highway. Why did the pathway cross the highway? I don't know.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah, go ahead, James.
Yeah, thank you. Kind of, it's not directly on this topic, I apologize, but just an observation, when we did all the work in Pablo, we hadn't really thought about all the traffic on the east side of the west side of the road. There's a lot of folks that walk along the front of the Mission Valley Power along that they've kind of made a trail on that west side of the road and kind of goes over to the grocery store and then even further north. But just an observation, as we see projects coming up down the road, if there's ways that we can, be thinking of some of that access, it'd be great. Kind of the other thing in this particular area, Post Creek and up into Kicking Horse, a lot of that area around the bridge, a lot of folks are using that for fishing access. So, we might want to think about those. And I know you all do, but just another pondering as we start on these projects. Sometimes we end up other uses that we didn't quite think of, I guess. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely the only thing I could think of is the 9 pipes potential conflict, but all the commercial businesses on this route are on the east side, as is the largest recreational area, which is actually Kicking Horse Reservoir. And you think of the need for pedestrians and people to be able to make it out to Job Corps. That's on the east side. So you were to weigh one side over the other. I think the only issue is there a way that we can move some pedestrians underneath the bridge at 9 Pipe. That would be advantageous to us to allow recreations to be able to cross underneath the highway there to get to the wildlife refuge from east side. Any other comments? Okay. Thanks, Scott. Go ahead, Alan. Sorry.
Oh, no, perfect. Any questions on the Post Creek Hill portion? If not, I can pass it off to Beth to give an update on the 3 other projects that are moving forward on US 93 corridor.
If I may, Mr. Chair, on that.
Yeah, go ahead,
Um,
James.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. The Post Hill section, I think the only thing I can think of is, when I'm thinking of a prior section as well. Back when we had the 2-lane through St. Ignatius, we had a turnout there at the S&K Technologies, which back then was the Medicine Tree Medical Center. And that turn lane was taken out, and now it's a big shoulder. And a lot of folks, I use that big shoulder as a turn lane. But thinking of that makes me think of the church and other places there along Post Creek. Can we make sure that there's adequate, if it's a Super 2 or whatever that's going to be designed, that there's adequate turn lanes and people getting in and off of that? And I know you all are pondering that, but I just wanted to bring that up again, that church on Sundays can be kind of hectic to get in and out of, or at least get around those folks that are trying to get in there. But anyway, thank you.
Thank you, James. Go ahead, Beth.
Thanks for having us. My name is Beth Kappas. I'll be the project manager on the bundle of projects that's currently in progress just north of Post Creek, which Ellen was talking about. So we have the Post Creek project, and then there's a section adjacent to 9 Pipe Reservoir that's currently unfunded. So that one's farther out in the queue. And then just north of that is where we have another project that's actively starting. And so that project runs from Brook Lane in the north to just past Eagle Pass Trail in the south. And that 93 project will include 3 projects under one effort, basically. So those 3 projects are the US 93 North 9 Pipe project, which is the project that's funded by the NAE grant that CSKT was awarded. It includes the US 93 Wildlife Overpass project, which is the WCPP grant that CSKT was awarded, and then also our Eagle Pass Trail Safety project. And North 9 Pipe and the Wildlife Overpass are new basically just as a result of that grant funding coming in. Eagle Pass Trail Safety has been in the works for a few years now. There was a safety concern identified at that intersection, and MDT had been looking at making some improvements to that intersection to address the need there. And since all 3 of these projects are, stacked up right next to each other, we see a lot of benefit in advancing the design together and then also completing them under a single construction effort just to be more efficient on both ends of that project. So that's kind of like our goal with squishing all these together. Our Transportation Commission just approved last week these 3 projects for progressive design build delivery. So what that means is we'll hire a contractor teamed with an engineer right off the start here. We'd like to advertise for that contract hopefully in October. And so we would get that contractor engineer team on early, and they would work with MDT and CSKT throughout project development, working towards construction. And there are quite a few deadlines associated with those federal highways grants that we'll have to meet. The big one being obligation by September 2026. And so that means we need to cruise through design and be just about ready to go to construction by fall 2026. And then we anticipate construction for those 3 projects occurring in 2027 and 2028. Obviously, we'll know a lot more about the schedule once we get a team on board and once we start working through design, but that's big picture what we're anticipating at this point in time. And again, that project includes about 3 miles of highway reconstruction. There are a couple of bridges included in that and also a wildlife overpass. So lots of work in that short stretch of highway. I think it'll be a very impactful project, just, benefiting wildlife passage and then also safety improvements to the highway. I did just want to emphasize that because of our grant deadlines, we are on a very aggressive timeline for that project. So exciting to kind of see some traction and see some movement on that one in the near future. And I definitely take any questions, I guess, after that quick overview.
Just your selection process then. I mean, what are your demands to meet that deadline with the potential?
Yeah, great question. So we're definitely going to make our key project milestones a part of our advertisement for hiring that firm. And those will be dates that we have to meet, obviously. And then we'll be working through a 2-step procurement process to select a design and contractor team. And so that really allows us to emphasize their qualifications through an initial request for qualifications and then ultimately a request for proposal. There is a cost component included in that selection process, but again, we're really emphasizing qualifications, just recognizing that it's a complex project, just with all of the groundwater and surface water issues and, relatively high traffic volumes and things like that. So we definitely really want to focus on qualifications in our selection process. And I think, like I said, we hope to advertise in October and would ideally have a firm on board starting with design by February.
Go ahead, James.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have just kind of a general question. How much of these, how many or how much of these projects have been funded by the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act?
And Joel could probably speak on this some too. I'll take a first pass at it, but the WCPP is the Wildlife Crossing Pilot Program grant, which was awarded to the overpass project, and then the NAE grant, which is the Neighborhood Access grant, was awarded to the North 9 Pipe project. And those are both out of the IIJA funding. And then the Eagle Pass Trail Safety Project is being funded by MDT's HSIP program. So that's sort of our standard safety funding. Joel, correct me if I'm wrong on that.
That is correct. And as well as the Post Creek Hill portion as well, that was funded at 32, I believe it's 36, 32, somewhere in that neighborhood. 38 million was brought forward for that project as well from that bill. The thing about the Post Creek Hill is there was a lot of expended federal funds already from previous bills over the previous years for that design. And we're also looking at potentially 12 to 15 plus or minus $1 million shortfall that will be picked up by our normal federal funding for the project in this area.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
And just one last, we've been doing these roughly quarterly. Our next quarterly update falls in November, December. I know it gets tough with the holidays, so we were going to propose coming just after the new year to do an update. We should be a little bit farther with Post Creek Hill and in the middle of the proposal phase for the 9 Pipes projects. Is there any opposition to January? Would you guys like to hear an update earlier?
Any concerns with that? You okay with that, Scott? Okay. Thank you all for coming in. Good to see you again. All right, we're back ahead of schedule now. I don't know if Katie's ready or not. I won't say what BLM stands for then. Just joking. Okay. Another break. Donut break. Cake? Oh, that's why you brought the media, huh? You brought the media because we're gonna have cake? Good. Guess I could do this resolution though, huh? Maybe Martin stepped out of the room, but I do have a resolution. We could probably do that right now. For our AT&I participation, same thing, officers. We just want to adopt a resolution to go for the annual meeting. And basically it has Mike as a principal and myself and Martin have been alternates. We'll just continue with that. That's what the resolution states. So, motion by Bing, approve a resolution for our delegates to the affiliated tribes of Northwest Indians. Second by Jimmy. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all is in favor? Can we vote on it? I think we vote on it. Unanimous. Yeah. Okay, get that done. Okay, we'll take a break.
Okay, now I guess I'm gonna use the microphone. We are gonna go ahead and kind of put you guys on spot. We're gonna go ahead and get started here with Tribal Council. They would all enjoy to get to know who you guys are, explain a little bit, who you guys are with, and then we'll go ahead and officially get started with this, but feel free to use the microphone.
All right. Hi, my name is Carrie Cecil. I am the acting district manager for the Western Montana District. Been down here in Montana for a short time, but usually sit in Alaska. I'm very excited to get to join all of you here today.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tracy Stone Manning, and I have the distinct honor and pleasure of serving as the director of the Bureau of Land Management, and I am home. I am, as you know, a fellow Montanan. But work in DC these days.
Good morning. I'm Erin Carey, and I am the field manager for the BLM Missoula field office. And wonderful to see you all again.
Good morning, everyone, council, and thank you so much for having us in your beautiful building here in the chambers. My name is Sonia Gurman. I'm the state director for Montana Dakotas for about 2 years now. And one of my first engagements as state director was to actually be out on the ground with some of the council members that we're celebrating today. So just an honor to be here. Thank you.
Hi, thanks for having us. My name's Jen McNew. I'm the Natural Resource Specialist, parentheses, plants, for the Missoula field office. So I work with plants. Thanks.
Hello, I'm Maria Craig, the Outdoor Recreation Planner for the BLM Missoula field office, and it's really great to be here. I also work with the Lewis and Clark National Stork Trail, which is actually the road to the Buffalo Hunt Road, and some other things, but it's great being here.
Morning. Thank you so much for hosting us today. My name is Brittany Jones, and I'm the communications chief out of the Montana Dakotas State Office. Thank you.
Morning, Grady Anderson. I'm a civil engineer for the BLM for the Western Montana District, and excited to be here.
Good morning, Maria Osipchuk. I'm the wildlife biologist in Missoula field office. Thanks for having us here.
Good morning. I can't see you. I'm Jody Wetstein. I'm a forester and I work in forestry and fuels for the BLM in Missoula. Thank you so much for having us.
Good morning. I'm Steve Kletzel, Western Montana Land Steward with the Nature Conservancy, and I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
Good morning, Michael Albritton, Assistant Field Manager at the Missoula Field Office. I'm very excited to be here this morning.
Good morning. I'm Mike Shadell. I'm the Forest Restoration and Partnership Manager for the Nature Conservancy. Thanks for having us.
Good morning. I'm Dave Hanna, also with the Nature Conservancy in Montana, and honored to be here.
Good morning, Shane Hendrickson, Flag Superintendent. Just got caught in a parking lot on the way by, so it's good to see everybody though.
Hi, I'm John. I just popped in, staff attorney with the CSKT, and work with Katie a little bit on getting the MOU done.
Good morning. My name is Nicole McGann. I'm a local boy from St. Ignatius, park ranger for the Bureau of Land Management in Missoula. Thank you for having us.
Good morning. I'm Alex Romanko. I'm the Forestry and Stewardship Assistant with the Nature Conservancy here in Montana. Thank you.
To everybody, some of the folks that I haven't met, my name is Katie McDonald. Some of the folks that I have been seeing in the past, welcome back. My position here with CSKT is as the Tribal Relations Specialist. I have had previous experience with CSKT as the Tribal Historic Preservation Officer, strictly working with Section 106 of the National Historic Preservation Act. So that kind of gave me a round of different folks to be working with. And so as I transitioned to this position, you know, we just kind of kick-started with some of our federal agencies, local groups, anybody who's surrounding us and in our Aboriginal territories. So I want to thank the rest of you folks who I haven't met before coming up and kind of getting a little bit of a showcase of what we've been working here doing, hoping to get our vision for what we want to do in the future. So I'm going to go ahead and ask you lovely ladies to come up and we'll go ahead and get started with Tribal Council.
Well, welcome everybody. Especially Tracy, Director. Nice, honor to have you here with us. So thank you.
Good morning, Tribal Council. Again, thank you very much for sitting here with us today. We're going to be going over our kind of our welcoming. We've already previously had signed our memorandum of understanding with the Missoula BLM field office. We have been focusing really on the Blackfoot Clearwater section of property, which is a lot of us like to feel that it's, you know, kind of that part of that heartland of our Aboriginal territories. And so, like I had said, we had previously went ahead and had signed the agreement, but today is kind of like a notice of what we've been doing, what our vision is for the future. Obviously, getting our staff, some folks to come and meet Tribal Council. Some of these folks are going to be in the future coming up with us here and presenting in front of you some of our goals that we've been meeting. So I'm just going to go ahead and get this started. And I'm really excited about this day. You know, it's one of those where it's a big goal. It's a big day to recognize some of those relationships that we're going to be having together. So I know the agenda was shared a little bit ago, and hopefully, Chairman McDonald, you would like to share a few words. If not, we can go ahead and we can get started on our side.
Well, gee whiz, thank you. You're inviting a McDonald to talk? You know,
Hey.
wow.
What we
Watch
do,
out.
right?
You got enough time? I don't know. Again, thank you, especially having the director here. What an honor. You know, our relationship with the landscape, of course, goes by, you know, a millennia. And so, in honoring our ancestors and our treaty rights and our future for future generations, it has been a cornerstone of our efforts is to have good relationships and strong relationships and partnerships with the federal agencies that are our partners in maintaining our trust resources and resources that are so important to us. Along with that, it's as demonstrated by the non-government organization here, the Nature Conservancy. They're also a cornerstone partner for us in how we move forward. So for us to collaborate and co-manage with the Bureau of Land Management, it can't be overstated how important that is for us and our future people. I talk about it all the time. I mean, we've been removed from the landscape in so many ways, in different fashions over time. Anything that we can do to restore our active relationship with the landscape that's evolved with us for thousands upon thousands of years and restore that self-esteem, that sense of place, you know, our language, our place names, all the things that are part of the intimate part of the landscape. So many people don't know about And even our membership needs to have that restored to them. It's really important that these partnerships develop and become enhanced and more inclusive through time. So I really appreciate Bureau of Land Management and the role modeling you've done. Not because I'm a former employee of BLM back in the day. It's just that I think it's, you know, the landscape that you manage, and for all of us, for all the citizens of the United States, and for our indigenous, you know, tribes, and us in particular in our area, it really is a cornerstone of our future and our success and for our people. So I want to thank you for all of that.
I'm getting the nod. Well, again, thank you. Thank you, council. Thank you guys, our visitors. This is a great achievement. And I could sit here and just say ditto of what Chair said. The importance of finding a good partner is hard these days. It's been hard traditionally, been hard historically. And the way BLM and the TNC has stepped up to partner with the tribe to not only recognize just our existence, but our part of that history of that land and returning our knowledge and participation in that land management is outstanding. As we're finding out, we've been disconnected with so many parts of our Aboriginal territory in the past that it's in order for it to enable us to be part of that landscape again is making our tribe whole again. As we continue to work with you and find more history and information of that area, your knowledge and your acceptance of us participating in the management to shape that area back to what it was is outstanding. That's what we need to thrive for other partners to do. And you, by leading by example to allow us to do that is forever grateful from our tribe to your organization. That's where, as Chair said, we can help in restoration, but true restoration is returning people to the land and our connection to that land. And in order for us to do that, you guys open the door for us to not only be there for on-ground participation, but planning participation and really allowing our elders and to return and tell stories of what that area meant to our tribe and how that was harvested and used in previous. So again, I just want to thank you guys and welcome everybody here for this celebration is what it is. It's a celebration. So thank you.
Jennifer?
Yeah, thank you all so much for coming. I recognize some of you, and I have to say, as a councilwoman, one of my favorite memories was the field trip that we had at Prim Meadow. It was very unexpectedly emotional for me to be in a place that has so much power. And, you know, I was born here on the Flathead Reservation, and I was lucky enough to be raised here, and I've raised my children here intentionally. And I feel really fortunate because I'm able to still live on a piece of my Aboriginal homeland where my people have always been. And so for me, living here is a source of strength. It's where I get part of my spiritual strength to do all the things that I do, is to be connected to this place. So it was really meaningful to me personally to be at a place like Prim Meadow and to be on a place that has so much power and a place that I know loves me. And even though I had never been there before, that land remembered me because I'm Salish. It remembered me, and I felt that, and that was very real. And so much of what I do here is really hard because sometimes we have to interact with people who hate Indians. And so it's particularly meaningful to know that not everybody's like that, that some people respect us, and that there are people who are not native who greatly respect the land and who take land stewardship very seriously. And the earth is depending on us. The land is depending on us. We get everything we have from the earth, and it's also our job to protect it. And having strong allies is essential because we can't do it all by ourselves. So your allyship and your, the good work that you do is so deeply meaningful and so important. Thank you so much for coming.
Any other council comments? Nope. Like, I'm gonna say this one thing. Tracy, I mean, I'm extremely proud of Aaron and Sonia. I mean, they do an excellent job, and Aaron's been nothing but your most localist, outspoken supporter of our treaty rights and our people and land use co-management. So I want to pay that honor to your staff. They really have done a wonderful job. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair McDonald. And I am so thrilled. Next week, the BLM's entire executive leadership team is coming here for a 3-day meeting, and we're going out into the field and learning from Erin and her peers about the work that they're doing in the lower Blackfoot and Clark Fork with you and for the future. And so the work has intense meaning in place, but it's also going to be a learning experience for the entire Bureau. So thank you so much for your partnership. Morning, everybody. It really is a pleasure and an honor to be back in these beautiful tribal chambers. Thank you for welcoming us. To all the members of the Confederated Salish and Kootenai tribes, my colleagues from the Bureau of Land Management, and our community partners back there, your presence here today signifies the importance of our continued collaboration and mutual respect. Today's celebration marks a significant step forward in deepening our relationship with the Confederated Salish and Kootenai tribes. This MOU is not just a document, it represents our commitment to working together as partners in stewardship of the lands and the resources that are so vital to all of us. It's a reflection of the Biden-Harris administration's deep commitment to engaging more honestly and deeply with our tribal partners. It's a reflection of Secretary Holland's call for us to meet our true obligation to our trust responsibilities, our obligations to each other. Through this agreement, we acknowledge the deep ties of the tribes to your ancestral homelands and the invaluable Indigenous knowledge that you bring to land management. Your insights are essential as we strive to protect our shared lands and waters and the cultural resources that define our shared history. Together, we can find ways to enhance the ecological health of our landscapes while honoring the cultural significance that they hold. A key component of this agreement is our commitment to engaging the tribal community, especially youth and elders. We recognize that the future of our lands depends on learning from the past and reaching to the future. We're excited about the opportunities for educational initiatives and cultural exchanges that will allow us to learn from each other and foster deeper connections to the land. This agreement also emphasizes our dedication to ensuring that tribal members have access to sacred sites and areas of cultural importance. We understand and acknowledge that these sites are integral to the spiritual and cultural practices of the tribes. Together, we'll develop the processes that facilitate access while protecting the integrity of these sacred spaces. I'm particularly excited about our work together along the Blackfoot and Clark Fork rivers, places that hold deep cultural and historical significance for the Confederated Salish and Kootenai tribes. These rivers have been central to the way of life for the tribes for generations, providing essential resources. The rivers are intertwined with the history, cultural, and identity of the tribes, making their protection and restoration a priority for us all. They also carry the stories and scars of humans' more recent history on these lands. Our partnership will ensure that these rivers are a vibrant life source for the future. As we move forward, we'll actively seek additional partnerships and funding opportunities to support our shared goals. Together, we can explore projects that align with both the priorities of the tribes and the BLM's mission, ensuring that our efforts are beneficial to both communities and the land we all cherish. This agreement, a significant milestone in our partnership, is a symbol of our commitment to collaboration, respect, and shared stewardship of the land we hold dear. It's our commitment to the future, and I'm deeply grateful for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. It'd be default as the chair here if I didn't recognize some other partners that came into the room late. You know, I don't know, probably the traffic from Missoula, I don't know what it was, but our county commissioners from Missoula, I want to recognize you for being here. Thank you.
Chairman McDonald and members of the council, thank you so much again for having us. And I will just say that I don't feel worthy sitting in between these two brilliant humans, both Katie and Aaron, and just want to give you so much thanks for our opportunity to work with your staff, working with Tony, Katie, Whitney, Ron, and many others. It's just been I would say just a very enriching and fulfilling engagement with them and making true friends and partners out on the landscape. And I will say this, Councilwoman Finley, that trip that we took with some of the council members out to the field with the director and with the field office was also incredibly important to us and to me. Like, I hold that in my heart when I'm engaging with tribal nations, not just here with CSKT, but with tribal nations elsewhere. And hearing your story about returning to the landscape, and that describes the intent of what we want to be doing and the responsibility that we bear as the Bureau of Land Management. And I just want to thank the director so much. Having the director of the Bureau of Land Management show up to an event like this shows not only all of our partners, but shows us as the Bureau just how incredibly important this work is. It's one of the most important things that we're doing, and of course, carrying out the intent of Secretary Holland as well. And we feel so fortunate and just that this is a once in a lifetime opportunity to be able to do this type of work and to right the wrongs of the past is really why we're doing this. And Chairman, something that we talked about when we were last in chambers was, you know, it's all of us working together. I mean, we have these brilliant humans from the field office and our wonderful partners with the Nature Conservancy, and wonderful to see the county commissioners here, and everybody understands the importance of this who are working on the landscape now. But this is as much about the future, and the way that we do this work together now is really going to model for future employees, other land managers who are in that area, like what is possible and what should be happening out on the landscape, not just within this area, but within throughout the landscape of the public lands over which we have responsibility. And Chairman, we also discussed that, hey, this is just the beginning, and we look at this as very much just the beginning footprint of our relationship with co-stewardship with the Confederated Salish Kootenai Tribe. So I just want to say thank you incredibly much for having us here today. We look forward to many more days out on the landscape and so many more days in deepening our partnership. And again, just want to give special recognition to Katie. I mean, you know who you have in Katie. I think you know that, and to just such an incredible honor to work with you, Aaron. So thank you.
Thank you, Sonia. Just one thing, I just can't help but say this because you know, it is so much about the future, right? It's not like making, you know, trying to correct things from the past. But when we talk about restoring landscape from impacts and trying to be resilient for the future with everything that's going on, from climate change to other demands on our local resources, from population growth or whatever it might be, it is incredibly important to have a more resilient environment and to learn from our native folks how that was done in the past. What is the best way to move towards the future? Because the future is really unknown for us. The only way we know that we're going to maintain bull trout on the landscape is to have more bull trout. and to restore streams and rivers. And same thing for everything in the community of biology. We have to be restoring to the best of our ability. We need numbers. We need to be more resilient for the impacts that are ahead of us. So that is really important. And to be able to have our youth come back on the landscape is, I mean, that is priceless to us, absolutely priceless. So thank you.
Okay. Well, I don't know how she did that, but I have to write my words down. So I want to thank you, Council, for having us here today. It really is an honor. And I want to thank the chairman and Director Stone Manning for your support of this work, because it isn't without your support that we've been able to get to where we are today. So signing this co-stewardship MOU, it is a big milestone in CSKT and BLM's relationship. And it's important to be able to celebrate this moment and recognize the significance of it. But I want to remember too that we didn't get here overnight. Rather, it's really been several years of working together in partnership in ecological restoration, particularly out in the Blackfoot, which we have learned is, as Katie said, the heart of your ancestral lands. And it's where the BLM, thanks to a wonderful partnership with the Nature Conservancy, have been acquiring former private timberlands back into public ownership. And this is really what affords us an incredible opportunity, not just to heal the land, but to do right by our tribal partners in that process. Many of the relationships that we've formed, that we've built over the last several years, as was mentioned, are peer-to-peer. It's our foresters working together, our botanists, our archaeologists, and they were formed not just through meetings and documents, although there's been a lot of that, but by actually being out on the land together. So working together, we've explored ways to reintroduce fire to the landscape. We have climbed white bark pine trees and collected cones for use in restoration. We've built beaver dam analogs in tributaries of Gold Creek. And we've collected camas seed to be grown in CSKT's nurseries to be planted back out in the Blackfoot. It really is through the many, many hours that we've spent visioning, planning, and carrying out this work in the field together that we've been able to exchange knowledge and learn from each other and start to build a foundation of trust. And that's what I want to point out. That's what brings us here to this moment and really shapes our work together in the future. I learned a new term recently from Tony here. It's biocultural restoration. And as we work together, it's become very clear to me that we need to expand our thinking of what restoration means. Like you said, Chairman, it is about restoring ecological conditions to a place where our forests and streams are healthy and resilient and can withstand what's coming at them in the future. But it's also about restoring a cultural connection to the landscape. So as we've been embarked on this work, CSKT leaders have told us, reminded us that it all starts with the plants. That might be another Tony quote. And we've learned that for millennia, your ancestors moved across the landscape to tend and harvest important plant resources like bitterroot and blue camas. And more than that, in doing that, your ancestors camped there, lived out their lives there, told their stories, built their memories. It's where your elders passed down knowledge to their children and grandchildren, and it's where your culture was formed. And so as we continue with this work, it's important to remember that this landscape is central to your culture and are now the lands that the BLM is honored to be able to manage and work in collaboration with you to do so. So we've learned in working together that we do our best work when we are working in collaboration and co-stewardship. When we listen to and honor tribal voices, and we do things in a way that benefits not just the land, but strengthens our connection with each other. So signing this MOU is a big milestone, but as was mentioned, our work is only just beginning. We have a lot of things to do, starting with meeting this fall to really outline our program of work, How are we going to engage together on specific projects? We are planning to hire shared staff so that we can build those bridges at a technical level, a resource level, bridging back to culture committees, to the language school, to youth. So I'm excited about this work, and I am deeply, deeply grateful for CSKT's partnership and commitment to this work.
Again, I just, we're all very thankful and excited to be here, and I'm really proud of this group here. There's a lot to what Tony had said. Is it's important to find collaborators, co-stewards, folks that have the same vision of how to bring back the landscape. And I'm hoping that in the future, from this day forward, is that we can bring that emotional connection back to these landscapes. It is very important. I feel like in the years that I had with preservation, I had an amazing opportunity to not only be in landscapes, but to be able to have that intangible and tangible connection to our historic cultures. So it's very important to the work that we do here of staying within our vision and allowing for expansion of that vision, because I feel like we're just a few folks here that have some ideas, that have some creative ways of how to re-engage and get our people back onto the landscapes, or getting that staff to staff connection. Of course those are very important, but we're just a few folks here. And so I would love to, open that opportunity for our leaders here, utilize me and our other folks that are sitting here at the table. If there are any interests or any ideas or any concerns, utilize us, allow us to have the opportunity for open ears and open minds to be able to ensure that we're continuing to take the right steps forward. I'm really excited for what comes. It's going to continue to even be a learning experience for us all to really understand the true meaning of co-management, co-stewardship. And so again, I thank you guys for taking some time out of your day to help us look on this day as, as something important and something that we're excited to continue to go forward with. And I want to thank you guys as well for believing in me and saying that we can do this. It'll all work out. And so again, thank you guys for the day. And we've got some gift exchanges that we'll be doing, and as well as sharing some cake at the end. I know I promised you guys some treats. And so again, as well as the staff in the back, I'm really looking forward to, like I said, some of the folks that I haven't worked with. I'll do my best to keep moving forward. If I don't have the answer, I'll find the answer. So again, thank you guys as well for taking some time and coming up today, getting to meet and see Tribal Council and our beautiful chambers. So thank you guys as well.
Thank you, Katie. Kind of goes without saying, it's great for us to be able to capitalize when we have good staff. And it goes without saying that Katie's wonderful spokesperson for us, and she knows her subject matter. And it's kind of like, all the moons lined up here. We have Deb up there, and we have the director of BLM from, right here. And, it's perfect. It's a perfect alignment for something great, creative, and a new paradigm for the future management of BLM in our ancestral landscape. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart. This is really a great day. Great day. Thank you.
And I just want to quickly add, this is really the product of BLM staff and CSKT staff previously working together on small multiple projects. I would go without, recognizing obviously BLM, you have a fantastic staff with open mind and great knowledge. And we have to recognize our CSKT staff, our resource specialists that do not only the work that they're to do on a reservation, but have the open mind and drive to do work off reservation also within our Aboriginal territory. We ask so much of them and they go above and beyond to look for partnerships and able to expand their knowledge and practices on our Aboriginal territory, which is outstanding and really above and beyond effort. You know, and for BLM to recognize how we manage on our reservation, that we use Western science techniques, but apply a cultural reasoning behind those practices. And for them to have the open mind to be able to expand that into our Aboriginal territory is just outstanding. And again, just want to applaud both BLM staff and CSKT staff for working for many years to get to this point. Much.
Thank you, Tony. Well,
Mr. Chair.
Yeah, go ahead, James.
Yeah, thank you. Just real quick, I just want to say thank you for coming to visit with the council. It's kind of interesting, you know, one of our first relationships as Indian people with the United States government occurred 200 years ago, actually. In 1824, the Office of Indian Affairs was created in the War Department. So we've come a long ways from having our main relationship with the U.S. government be housed in the Department of War, now the Department of Defense. So, you know, this relationship comes through many lawsuits, many fights that the Indian people had battled just to get citizenship. In 1924, you know, we weren't even considered citizens. I've told this story a number of times, but there's many others. But my neighbor Joe Inyas wasn't even a citizen in World War I when he went and fought. And, you know, so we've come a long ways from Indians being ignored, being pushed around. You know, our people were forced out of the Bitterroot by the United States military. And there's a famous picture over what at that time was the Higgins Street Bridge, which has been aptly renamed. And so I appreciate you all, appreciate the visit, and thank you.
Thank you, James.
Mr. Chair, given that history, I just need to acknowledge the grace of everybody in this room to receive us. Thank you.
The thanks is ours, trust me. Hey, Steve, they weren't talking about plants first, just so you know, Steve, that wasn't, not to inflate your interest.
All right, I think now we're going to take a quick gift exchange. I know that these folks have put a considerable thought into what they would like to gift you all, and I as well have a gift for you guys.
We could, you know, there's some other politicians in the room, so I don't know if those county commissioners want to say anything, if they have anything additive. Okay. Just open mic if you want. All right. You're coming on up. Talk about great partners. Missoula County Commissioners have been the ultimate best partners that I can think of. So thank you for coming today.
Thank you all, and just so
Just
much
press
gratitude.
the button. Yeah.
So much gratitude, and really impressive. See so many folks who've been part of this work for so many years, and then wow, to be here today and to be able to witness this. It's such an honor. So thank you.
Likewise, on behalf of Missoula County, we're delighted to be here. And as had been said earlier, what you're witnessing today is the culmination of work on the part of many people arguably over many generations, and it's still just the start. And we as Missoula County, even though we are not signatories to what is going to be taking place here today, are fully supportive of the relationship building that we are witnessing. We're glad to be a part of this in a small way ourselves, and look forward to a bright future collaborating with the tribes as always. So thank you.
Thank you. Full of gratitude. It's such an honor to bear witness to what we have just seen. These two governments, how you're interacting with each other. This is exemplary. This is how we are to act with one another and how we are to act towards the land. You're setting an example. Thanks for allowing us to come see it.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Blackfoot River. And then this is actually from your bison range.
Thank you.
And then, so this photo also, we have that framed and providing each of you of those framed photos of the Blackfoot.
A quick, just really say how much working with you guys and your our phase two allow. Thank you. Very minimal.
We just know how to do that. Pull me up.
That's right. Yeah, the cake, I've been talking about it for days.
We, two housekeeping items before we go into executive with legal. We have an invite from the Glacier National Park Conservancy. This is the board Jermaine White's on, and they've come before council a couple of times, and we've asked them to be inclusive and maybe even have some field trips up the glacier, and they are inviting us to a tour on October 17th, evening meal and lodging. And if the tour on the 17th didn't work out, they could do the tour on Friday the next morning. They want to take us in the red buses up the glacier, tour around. So it's all at their dime, and they're inviting us up. And so what we could do is schedule that Thursday, October 17th, for a field trip day with the Nature Conservancy, if council would like that. It'll be an evening meal. Well, it could be all day. It'll be going to the Sun Road with the red buses, and then have a meal, and then the evening there if people want to stay overnight. If that can't be pulled off, we still have the evening meal, and try to catch the tour on Friday morning, depending on the weather. Thumbs up from James. Thumbs up. I've never stayed at this place. I sent you all the letter. It's Cedar Creek Lodge, near Columbia Falls. Never been there, so don't know. Okay, we'll be affirmative on that one. The next one is Carrie came in last week to approve the final cut for the bison hunt regulations down in Yellowstone, and there was a miscommunication with staff. They were hoping to waive the requirement for any hunter that attended the class last year, that they would be able to excuse themselves from a class this year. So they wouldn't be required to do the orientation because nothing's changed. The updates are the exact same as last year's class. So they were hoping for that waiver. So if council's okay to that, I would need actually a motion to modify the annual Yellowstone bison hunt regulations to provide a waiver. Okay, motion by Lynn, second by Danielle. All those in favor? Unanimous, I think. Okay, thank you. Okay, Dan, it's all yours. Okay. Yes, please. Executive? Okay, we'll move into executive. Back into open session, and we have the renewal of our legal staff employment contracts. So first up is Chelsea. Motion by Carol to approve the resolution and contract for Chelsea. Second by Martin. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor? Unanimous, I think. James, there you are.
Yep.
Okay. Next up, we have Christina. Motion by Carol. Second by Bing. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor? Yeah, go ahead, Len.
Is she still working for SK Technologies also? No, she's full-time with legal.
Okay, call for a vote. All those in favor?
Yes.
Unanimous. Next up, we have the resolution and contract for Lindsay. And she has to bring her baby. No, I'm just joking. By Danielle. Second by Jimmy. All those in favor? Unanimous. Next up, we have John H. Motion by Bing to give him back to the Blackfeet. No, I'm just joking. Motion by Bing to accept the resolution and contract for John Harrison. Second by Carol. All those in favor? Unanimous, I believe. And next up, we have Dana. Motion by Carol, second by Martin. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Unanimous. Next up, we have Miss Katie. Motion by Martin, second by Jimmy. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Unanimous. Next up is Shane. Resolution and contract for Shane Marjo. Oh, yeah, Jennifer, motion. Are you sure? Okay. Do we have a second? Oh, boy. Shane.
Second.
Seconded by Bing. Sorry, Bing beat you to it, James. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor? Unanimous. Lana's up next. Lana's contract and resolution, motion by Carol, second by Jimmy. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor? Unanimous. Next up, we have Melissa. Motion by Carol, big motion by Carol. Probably a big second by Len. Is that right, Len? Definitely agree with you. Any other discussions? Seeing none, all's in favor? Unanimous. Brian Upton. Motion by Jimmy, second by Jennifer. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor? Unanimous. Next up is Michael. Motion by Martin, second by Carol. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor? Unanimous. Next up is Zach. Motion by Jennifer, second by Danielle. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor? Unanimous. And lastly is our managing attorney. Doing an excellent job, Dan. Motion by Martin, second by Carol. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? I think it's, you're stepping and, holding back.
Abstaining, Mr. Chair.
Okay, we have, 7-4, 2 abstaining, James and Bing. That concludes the renewal of all your contracts and resolutions. Thank you.
Oh, that'll be next week. I'm sorry. I didn't clarify that. Yeah, they're our part-time staff, so I'll bring those in next week.
I'm sorry, y'all, we approved everything, but we reduced your pay down to $1 an hour. And we're gonna, yeah.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah, go ahead, James.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you all for all of the hard work, and the legal department has been, you know, the leader in the nation from its inception in the early 80s when Dan's dad and my uncle were part of the early creation of that back in the late 70s, early 80s, and battled Joint Border Control, the state of Montana, you know, federal court, Capitol, DC, the Supreme Court is what I'm trying to say, in DC, and Montana Supreme Court, Federal District Court, federal appellate courts, just on and on and on. We had a trophy room, so to speak, with all of the wins in the battles and courts that the legal department has won, we could put our tribe's legal department up against any of the major law firms and Indian organizations in the country for all the battles that have been won. And that's due to you all and to your predecessors that started this back in the early days, and got rid of Wilkinson, Cragen, and Barker, I guess is the name. But thank you all. Proud of you all. Thank you for your work.
Thank you, James.
And Foster to rights us.
Back in the day. Any other comments? Go ahead, Jennifer.
Yeah, I just want to thank all of you for your service to the tribe. Our tribe is in a better place because of the work of all of you, because of the fine minds that you have and the good hearts that you have. Just talking to the BLM folks reminded me that you can't teach someone how to have a good heart. You just have to find those people. And I think our tribe is really lucky because I know that all of you have really good hearts and you bring that to your work and it benefits all of our people. So thank you for that. We are so fortunate to have the legal team that we have. It's one of our finest departments. So thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Any other comments? Yeah, Carol?
I think we're lucky to have all the money that we have so we can pay our attorney. No, I appreciate all the work that you guys do, and a lot of that money comes from the work that you do and make it all possible. And it's about the people. It's nothing else but the people that we serve, and you guys do a good job to help us serve our people. So thank you.
Right. Any other comments? Seeing none. Congratulations and thank you for your service. And we know it's 40-hour work weeks out the window now. It's it's at least 70. So yeah. Hey, yeah, I'm getting a break. Yeah, there you go, Michael. That was a good comeback. Yeah, there it is right there. Thank you. Yeah.
No, on behalf of the staff, I want to thank the council for letting us work for you guys, and obviously taking everything into consideration that the hard work the staff does here. Appreciate your support as always. And as you can tell, our legal updates, we're fairly long every week and there's a lot going on. So thank you for allowing us the flexibility to give our updates and come in and squeeze us in when we have to come in and give a quick update. So appreciate it as always. And again, thank you for your support.
Thank you. I just have one personal expectation. And it doesn't go for all of you, but nearly all of you. Anytime there's new babies, you name them Tom or Thomasina, and we're okay. Okay? All right. I know. It's like that Shane guy. He comes in there. Well, yeah, sure. Whatever. I got kind of a dog face, so that works for me. Thank everybody. Good job. Yeah, go ahead, John.
Just wanted to say something real quick. Say thanks to council, thanks for good leadership, and definitely want to thank Dan. He's been an amazing managing attorney, and we have a really good crew, and it starts with a lot of good leadership from the council and from the managing attorney. So really appreciate that. Thanks.
Okay, I think that was our last order of business. We are not meeting on Thursday. And someone said the raft trip's canceled too. Is that right? Yeah, go ahead. Council have any opinions on that one?
Can you repeat?
Lowering the flags to half mast for in respect to the Kulia and shawl, passings.
No objection.
Betty's this Saturday? No, they were already? No. Yeah, private service at the ranch. Yeah. Okay, consensus on the flags? You okay with that? Well, it's a relative. Yeah. Oh, well, you're right. Yeah. Did we? The Conqueror? Go ahead, Jennifer.
Yeah, I think it's important to honor Francis that way. He was a prayer leader and he came over here for a lot of things and supported a lot of people here. I'm not just saying it because he's my relative, but his work and what he contributed is invaluable to our tribe as a
Indeed.
cultural leader and a cultural person. And he does have family here. He is related to us.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, yeah, well put. Okay, consensus? Lower half mast? Okay. And then we have an update from Greg on the that's true. Yeah, what you said. Okay.
Good afternoon, all.
Hey, Greg. We're in open session, so you have an update for us. You want executive?
Let's go into executive and,
Okay.
and we can come out and summarize it if
Okay,
need be.
we'll go to executive. Len has a motion to adjourn, and I accept that motion wholeheartedly.